The deep space scanner on Velthari Prime detected the signal at 347 hours on a cold morning in what humans would call March. Ambassador. Zektor studied the readings with 3 of his yellow eyes while the 4th watched his age shuffle through datapads. The transmission came from a system the galactic maps listed as Sol, far out in the spiral arm where civilized beings rarely traveled. The signal was crude by galactic standards, but it carried the unmistakable mathematical patterns that meant intelligent life. Zektor had discovered 17 new species during his long career, and this looked like number 18. The preliminary scans showed a blue-green world with primitive technology and no signs of faster-than-light travel. Perfect for a simple first contact mission. 3 months later, Zektor stood in the docking bay of Harmony Point, the neutral station that served as a meeting place for new species encounters. His diplomatic team included War Chief Drakthun of the militaristic Krex, Scholar Veltara of the knowledge-seeking Minthari, and Trademaster Quill of the commerce-loving Killian. Each represented a major faction of the Galactic Council, and each had their own reasons for wanting to meet these humans. The human ship arrived exactly on schedule, which impressed Zektor since most primitive species struggled with basic timekeeping in space. The vessel looked simple enough with clean lines and basic hull plating that suggested limited manufacturing capabilities. No obvious weapon ports or defensive systems were visible, which matched their preliminary assessment of a peaceful species. Captain Jake Morrison stepped through the airlock with a wide smile that showed his white teeth. He moved with confidence but not aggression, and his uniform was neat without being militaristic. Behind him came Dr. Lisa Hamilton, a woman with kind eyes who carried what appeared to be translation equipment, and Kevin Brooks, a younger man whose nervous energy suggested he might be new to diplomatic work. The first meeting went better than anyone expected. The humans had prepared basic translation protocols and seemed genuinely excited to meet other intelligent beings. Jake spoke in simple, direct sentences and asked thoughtful questions about galactic civilization. Lisa showed great interest in alien biology and culture, while Kevin took careful notes and asked about trade possibilities and cultural exchange programs. What struck Zektor most was how openly the humans shared information about their world. They freely discussed their population levels, their basic technology, their government structures, and their hopes for joining the galactic community. Most species were cautious during first contact, but these humans seemed to have no fear of revealing their capabilities or limitations. Dr. Hamilton explained that Earth had a single, unified government that had formed after their last major war 50 years earlier. She described their technology as basic but improving, with recent breakthroughs in fusion power and genetic medicine. Captain Morrison admitted that their fastest ships could barely reach 10% of light speed and that they had no experience with the energy weapons or defensive shields that more advanced species used. The military assessment came from War Chief Drak Thun's private scans of the human vessel. His instruments detected no significant armament beyond what appeared to be basic point defense systems for asteroid deflection. The ship's hull was standard metal alloy with no exotic materials or advanced armor. Even their reactor output was modest compared to galactic standards. Scholar Veltara found the humans intellectually curious, but clearly limited by their isolation. They had developed mathematics and physics to a reasonable level, but lacked the advanced theories that came from studying multiple alien technologies. Their questions about faster-than-light travel and energy manipulation showed the gaps in their knowledge. Trademaster Quill saw immediate opportunities in the human system. Earth appeared to be rich in basic minerals and agricultural products that had value in galactic markets. The humans seemed eager to trade and showed no signs of the territorial aggression that made some species difficult to work with. Their economic system was primitive but stable, based on individual enterprise rather than the complex corporate hierarchies that dominated galactic commerce. During the 3-day meeting, the humans proved to be pleasant companions. They shared food from their world, including a stimulating drink called coffee that several aliens found appealing. They told stories about their history and culture, describing their journey from a divided world to a united species. They spoke of their dreams to explore the galaxy and learn from older civilizations. Behind the scenes, Admiral Greg Patterson observed every moment from Earth through encrypted communications. He sat in a secure room beneath the Pacific Ocean, watching diplomatic feeds while coordinating with General Amy Foster of Human Intelligence Division. They had spent decades preparing for this moment, ever since Earth's deep space telescopes had detected signs of galactic civilization. The plan was simple in concept, but complex in execution. Humanity would present itself as a naive but friendly species, eager to join galactic society as junior partners. They would hide their true technological capabilities behind carefully crafted illusions, while systematically gathering intelligence about alien military strength, political structures, and strategic weaknesses. Peter Collins had designed the deception protocols 20 years earlier, after analyzing thousands of hours of intercepted alien communications. His psychological profile suggested that most galactic species viewed primitive newcomers as either useful resources or potential threats. By appearing harmless and grateful, humans could avoid the threat classification while gaining access to restricted information. Every human word and gesture had been planned and practiced. Jake's friendly demeanor masked years of military intelligence training. Lisa's scientific curiosity was genuine, but directed toward gathering data on alien biology and technology. Kevin's note-taking captured detailed observations about alien behavior patterns, equipment specifications, and security procedures. The aliens departed Harmony Point convinced they had encountered a species of natural diplomats. Zector filed his report recommending immediate integration into the Galactic Council as a Category 7 civilization, suitable for limited trade rights and cultural exchange. The humans would be granted access to basic galactic technologies and allowed to establish colonies on undesired worlds. What the aliens did not know was that human ships had been secretly observing galactic civilization for over 30 years. Hidden bases throughout the outer systems had been monitoring alien communications and analyzing their technology. The meeting at Harmony Point was not first contact, but the beginning of humanity's greatest deception. As the alien ships jumped to faster-than-light speed, Admiral Patterson smiled in his underground command center. Phase 1 was complete and the galaxy had taken the bait. Now the real work could begin. 6 months after the Harmony Point meeting, human merchant ships began appearing at trading posts throughout the galaxy. The Galactic Council had granted Earth basic commercial rights, allowing human vessels to transport goods between systems under standard regulations. Most aliens viewed this as a generous gesture toward a primitive but promising species. Captain Ron Martinez commanded the civilian freighter New Horizons, one of the first human ships to operate regular trade routes. His vessel looked exactly like what the aliens expected from Earth technology. Functional but basic, with simple hull design and standard propulsion systems. The cargo holds carried agricultural products from Earth, minerals from Luna, and manufactured goods that seemed impressive for human capabilities, but primitive by galactic standards. Ron's crew included navigator Beth Johnson, a quiet woman who spent most of her time studying star charts and plotting courses between systems. Engineer Carl Stevens maintained the ship's systems with the careful attention that human technology seemed to require. Communications Officer Dale Price handled all contact with alien port authorities, always polite and eager to follow proper procedures. What the aliens did not see was the advanced scanning equipment hidden within the navigation systems. Every human merchant ship carried sensor arrays more sophisticated than most military vessels in the galaxy. While Beth plotted standard courses, her equipment was mapping defensive installations, recording energy signatures, and analyzing the composition of alien military assets. The deception was perfect because it relied on alien expectations. The Galactic Council believed humans were technologically inferior, so they saw basic equipment where advanced systems actually operated. Human ships requested permission to scan for navigation hazards, and port authorities routinely granted access. The aliens helped humans map their most sensitive installations, while believing they were being generous to primitive newcomers. Chief Intelligence Officer Julie Adams coordinated the entire operation from a facility on Earth's moon. Her team processed data from dozens of human ships operating throughout galactic space. Within weeks, they had detailed information about military bases, trade routes, resource deposits, and political relationships across 17 star systems. The information gathering went beyond simple observation. Human traders proved to be excellent conversationalists, and aliens enjoyed sharing stories about their civilizations with curious newcomers. Ron learned about Krek's military traditions during cargo transfers at their fortress worlds. Beth discovered Menthari research priorities while refueling at their academic stations. Carl gathered technical specifications by asking innocent questions about alien engineering while his ship underwent maintenance. War Chief Drakthun began to notice unusual patterns in human activities. His intelligence officers reported that human ships appeared at locations throughout Krek space with suspicious frequency. When they investigated, they found only standard civilian vessels conducting legitimate trade. The humans' energy signatures matched expected parameters for primitive technology, and their crews answered all questions with helpful cooperation. The war chief's concerns seemed paranoid to other council members. Scholar Veltara pointed out that humans were simply following established trade routes and showing natural curiosity about galactic civilization. Trademaster Quill noted that human commerce was bringing valuable resources to previously unprofitable markets. Ambassador Zektor reminded everyone that the diplomatic assessment had classified humans as a peaceful species with limited technological capabilities. Meanwhile, Dr. Sam Wright led a scientific exchange program that gave humans access to alien research facilities throughout the galaxy. His team included Dr. Helen Carter, a material specialist who showed particular interest in alien construction techniques, and Dr. Tony Brooks, a physicist fascinated by advanced energy systems. They presented themselves as eager students hoping to learn from superior alien knowledge. The exchange program was another perfect deception. Humans shared their primitive research freely while expressing gratitude for any insights from advanced alien science. Dr. Wright published papers on basic human mathematics that aliens found quaint but harmless. Dr. Carter demonstrated simple metallurgy, techniques that impressed aliens with human ingenuity while revealing nothing significant about Earth's capabilities. What the aliens did not realize was that human science had surpassed their own in most fields decades earlier. Dr. Wright's team was not learning from alien research but analyzing it for weaknesses and limitations. Every alien facility they visited was thoroughly scanned and mapped. Every piece of equipment they examined was understood and cataloged. Every alien scientist they met was psychologically profiled and assessed. The most important part of the deception involved human colonies. Earth requested permission to establish settlements on worlds that other species had rejected as worthless. These planets were too harsh, too remote, or too resource-poor for alien colonization. The Galactic Council readily granted these requests, viewing them as evidence of human desperation and technological limitations. Colony Administrator Max Turner oversaw the settlement of Kepler 442b, a world with extreme weather and limited water resources. His team included engineer Linda Ross, agricultural specialist Bob Kelly, and security chief Nancy Davis. To alien observers, they appeared to be struggling pioneers trying to make hostile worlds habitable with primitive technology. The reality was completely different. Each human colony was a carefully disguised military installation with advanced manufacturing capabilities. The agricultural facilities produced exotic materials for weapon systems. The mining operations extracted resources for starship construction. The research stations developed new technologies for the coming conflict. Underground factories operated beneath every human settlement, protected by stealth systems that made them invisible to alien sensors. Advanced fusion reactors provided unlimited power while appearing to be simple geothermal plants. Automated construction systems built weapons and equipment around the clock while maintaining the illusion of basic human industry. The colonies also served as strategic bases for future military operations. Each settlement included hidden launch facilities for attack craft, concealed weapons platforms for system defense, and encrypted communication arrays for coordinating with Earth. The network of human worlds was actually a carefully positioned chain of military strongholds spanning key regions of galactic space. Most impressive was the logistics system that connected all human operations. Merchant ships did more than gather intelligence. They transported personnel, equipment, and resources between colonies without detection. The aliens saw civilian trade but missed the military supply network operating within it. Every human settlement received regular deliveries of advanced technology, disguised as basic supplies. The Killian Trade Federation became particularly fond of human merchants, who brought interesting products at reasonable prices. Trademaster Quill personally approved expanded human access to Killian commercial networks, allowing human ships to operate throughout their territory. He praised human business ethics and recommended them as reliable partners for other species. Scholar Veltara invited human researchers to attend conferences at prestigious Menthari institutions. She found their questions thoughtful and their enthusiasm refreshing, compared to the arrogance of more advanced species. Her recommendations opened doors throughout the academic community, giving humans access to classified research and strategic information. Even War Chief Drakthun eventually accepted human presence in Krek's space. His investigations found no evidence of deception beyond the coincidental timing of human activities. The species appeared to be exactly what they claimed: primitive but peaceful traders and explorers grateful for galactic acceptance. His initial suspicions were forgotten, as human reliability proved itself through months of honest commerce. By the end of their first year in galactic society, humans had achieved complete strategic penetration of alien civilization. They possessed detailed intelligence on every major military installation, political structure, and economic system. Their hidden colonies provided manufacturing bases and staging areas throughout key regions of space. Their merchant network offered perfect cover for military movements and supply operations. The aliens believed they had welcomed a grateful junior species into their civilized community. They had actually invited the most sophisticated military intelligence operation in galactic history into their most sensitive locations. Humanity was ready for the next phase of their plan, and the galaxy still had no idea what was coming. The first reports of the Andromedian invasion fleet reached the Galactic Council on a Tuesday morning that would be remembered as the beginning of the greatest crisis in recorded history. Deep space monitors at the rim of known space detected massive energy signatures approaching from the void between galaxies. The fleet was enormous, with ships larger than anything in the galactic database and technology that defied current understanding of physics. War Chief Drakthun called an emergency session of the Council within hours of receiving the initial reports. Representatives from every major species gathered in the Great Chamber on Central Prime, their faces showing the fear that came with facing the unknown. The preliminary data was terrifying. Hundreds of ships moving at impossible speeds with weapon signatures that could destroy entire worlds. Ambassador Zektor studied the tactical displays with growing horror. The invasion fleet had already destroyed 3 outer colonies without slowing down. The attack showed no mercy and left no survivors. Whoever these Andromedians were, they possessed technology far beyond anything the galaxy had developed during thousands of years of civilization. Scholar Veltara presented her analysis of the alien vessels with trembling hands. The energy readings suggested power sources that shouldn't be possible according to known physics. Their weapons appeared to manipulate matter at the quantum level, turning solid starships into clouds of dispersed atoms. Their shields absorbed every type of attack the outer defense stations had attempted. Trademaster Quill reported economic panic spreading throughout galactic commerce. Trading ships were abandoning routes near the invasion corridor, and commodity prices were collapsing as species hoarded resources for defense. The carefully balanced galactic economy was beginning to unravel as fear replaced confidence in established systems. The first military response came 3 days later when a combined fleet of Krek's warships engaged the Andromedian advance guard near the Centauri Nebula. The battle lasted less than an hour and ended with complete destruction of the galactic force. Not a single Krek's vessel survived to report on enemy tactics or capabilities. The invasion fleet continued toward the galactic core without apparent damage. Captain Danny Lee of the human vessel Pathfinder volunteered to conduct reconnaissance missions against the invaders when War Chief Drakthun requested assistance from all allied species. His crew included Communications Officer Nancy White, who had worked with Galactic Council frequencies since the first trade missions, and Tactical Specialist Rick Thompson, a former Earth Defense officer with experience in combat analysis. The human offer was gratefully accepted by the desperate Council. Danny's ship was small enough to avoid detection while gathering intelligence about enemy capabilities. His mission was simple: observe the invasion fleet from a safe distance and report anything that might help galactic forces develop effective countermeasures. What the aliens did not know was that Captain Lee's reconnaissance missions were carefully coordinated with Admiral Patterson on Earth. Every report he filed had been scripted in advance to support humanity's larger strategy. The intelligence he gathered painted a picture of overwhelming enemy superiority designed to justify the military buildup that would follow. Danny's first report described Andromedian ships as massive constructs with weapons that could crack planets and shields that absorbed energy attacks without visible effect. He estimated their fleet strength at over 2,000 vessels, each one capable of destroying entire galactic battle groups. His tactical analysis suggested that conventional weapons would be completely ineffective against such advanced technology. Behind the scenes, a very different operation was taking place. Admiral Patterson had activated Phase 2 of humanity's long-term strategy 6 months earlier, when Earth's deep space sensors detected the approaching fleet. The Andromedian invasion was not an unexpected crisis, but a carefully planned joint operation between humanity and their secret allies from beyond the galaxy. Colonel Steve Phillips led covert teams throughout alien space, positioning human assets in key locations under cover of providing assistance during the crisis. His operatives included engineer Kate Miller, who gained access to Krek's weapons facilities by offering to help improve their defensive systems, and intelligence specialist Joe Adams, who infiltrated Menthari command centers as a communications liaison. The deception was perfect because it exploited alien desperation. Every species was eager to accept human help during the crisis, and no one questioned the sudden appearance of human technical experts throughout their most sensitive installations. The aliens welcomed their new allies while unknowingly giving them access to every major military secret in the galaxy. Dr. Sam Wright's research teams worked around the clock to analyze captured Andromedian technology that Danny Lee's missions provided. The analysis reports were distributed to alien scientists throughout the galaxy, showing apparent human efforts to understand enemy capabilities. What the aliens did not realize was that the captured technology was actually human equipment designed to misdirect their research efforts. The breakthrough moment came when Dr. Wright announced that his team had identified potential weaknesses in Andromedian shield technology. His research suggested that a combination of specific energy frequencies and quantum disruption fields might penetrate their defenses. The discovery gave hope to alien military commanders who had been planning desperate last stands against an apparently invincible enemy. Weapons manufacturing throughout the galaxy shifted to produce the new anti-Andromedian systems based on human research. Every major species committed their industrial capacity to building devices that supposedly could damage enemy ships. The aliens believed they were preparing to defend their civilization with humanity's help, but they were actually building weapons that would be useless when the real battle began. The deception required perfect coordination between human operatives throughout galactic space. Each team had to maintain their cover while gathering specific intelligence about alien military capabilities and positions. Julie Adams coordinated the entire network from her command center on Luna, processing reports from dozens of agents and ensuring that every piece of information supported the larger plan. The most crucial element was maintaining communication with the Andromedian fleet. The invasion was proceeding exactly according to schedule, with each battle carefully choreographed to demonstrate overwhelming superiority while avoiding actual damage to human interests. The aliens fighting for their lives never suspected that their enemies were following a script written on Earth. Human colonies throughout the galaxy began receiving emergency supplies and personnel to help defend against the invasion threat. The aliens viewed this as evidence of human courage and solidarity during the crisis. They did not realize that every supply shipment contained advanced military equipment, and that the new personnel were actually special forces operators preparing for the final phase of the operation. Max Turner reported from Kepler 442b that his colonists were working around the clock to contribute to the defense effort. His agricultural facilities were supposedly producing emergency food supplies for refugee populations. His mining operations were apparently extracting raw materials for weapon construction. The reality was that his hidden factories were producing the equipment that would soon be used against the aliens themselves. The psychological impact of the crisis was as important as the military positioning. Months of desperate struggle against an apparently superior enemy had broken alien confidence in their own capabilities. They looked to humanity as their potential saviors, the one species clever enough to find weaknesses in Andromedan technology. This dependence was exactly what Admiral Patterson had planned. The decisive moment approached when long-range sensors detected the main Andromedan fleet moving toward the galactic core. War Chief Drakthun announced that all available forces would make their final stand in the Kepler Nebula, using the new human-designed weapons to attempt one last desperate defense of galactic civilization. Admiral Patterson received the news in his command center beneath the Pacific Ocean, with quiet satisfaction. Every element of the operation had proceeded perfectly. The aliens were positioned exactly where humanity needed them, armed with weapons that would fail at the crucial moment, and psychologically prepared to accept human leadership when their own efforts collapsed. Captain Lee filed his final reconnaissance report describing the approaching Andromedan armada. His tactical analysis predicted complete annihilation of galactic forces unless some miracle occurred during the coming battle. The report spread panic throughout alien space while secretly confirming to human forces that everything was ready for the final phase of their conquest. The galaxy prepared for its last battle, never knowing that the war had already been lost before the first shot was fired. The final battle for galactic civilization began at dawn in the Kepler Nebula, with over 3,000 ships from 17 different species arranged in desperate defensive formations. War Chief Drakthun commanded the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history from his flagship Eternal Honor, while representatives from every major civilization waited in terror for the approaching Andromedan armada. Captain Danny Lee positioned his reconnaissance vessel Pathfinder at the edge of the combat zone, supposedly to provide early warning when the enemy fleet arrived. His communications officer Nancy White maintained contact with both the Galactic Command Structure and the Human Coordination Network. Tactical Specialist Rick Thompson monitored weapon signatures and shield frequencies throughout the Allied formations. Hidden among the alien battle groups were dozens of human vessels that appeared to be providing auxiliary support. Captain Linda Park commanded the merchant vessel Ranger, which carried supplies and medical equipment for the desperate defense effort. Captain Mike Davis operated the research ship Explorer, equipped with advanced sensors to analyze enemy tactics. Captain Beth Martinez piloted the transport vessel Guardian, loaded with emergency evacuation pods for civilian refugees. What the aliens did not know was that every human ship in the nebula was actually a disguised warship with capabilities far beyond anything in the galactic fleet. The supply vessels carried plasma weapons that could melt through any known armor. The research ships deployed quantum torpedoes that could destroy entire formations. The transport craft were actually stealth fighters with advanced targeting systems. General Amy Foster coordinated the human operation from her hidden command center on Luna, monitoring the positions of every vessel in the battle zone. Her tactical display showed not only the locations of Allied and enemy forces, but also the concealed human assets positioned throughout the nebula. Each human ship was equipped with quantum communication systems that allowed instant coordination, regardless of distance or interference. The Andromedan fleet emerged from hyperspace exactly on schedule, their massive vessels materializing in perfect formation at the designated coordinates. The sight of 2,000 enemy ships sent waves of panic through the galactic forces, but the aliens held their positions and prepared to fight for their civilization's survival. War Chief Drakthun broadcast final orders to all units as the enemy began their attack approach. The battle opened with a devastating Andromedan assault that demonstrated their apparent technological superiority. Their weapons tore through galactic shields like they were made of paper, while their own defenses absorbed every counterattack without visible damage. Within minutes, dozens of alien ships were destroyed and the carefully planned defensive formations began to collapse under impossible pressure. Captain Lee reported the carnage to his human coordinators while maintaining his cover as a neutral observer. The Andromedan attack was proceeding exactly according to the secret plan developed by Admiral Patterson and his staff. Each enemy movement had been choreographed to maximize psychological impact while positioning alien forces for the final phase of the deception. Scholar Veltara's research vessel was among the first casualties when Andromedian weapons reduced it to scattered atoms. Trademaster Quill's flagship suffered critical damage and began drifting powerless through the debris field. Ambassador Zektor's diplomatic cruiser lost all communications and life support as enemy fire penetrated its command center. The galactic leadership was being systematically eliminated according to human targeting priorities. As alien resistance crumbled, War Chief Drakthun made the desperate decision to activate the new anti-Andromedian weapons that human scientists had developed. Every surviving ship in the galactic fleet fired their modified energy cannons and quantum disruptors at the enemy formation, hoping that human research had found the key to penetrating Andromedian defenses. The weapons failed completely, just as Admiral Patterson had planned. The breakthrough technology that Dr. Sam Wright had provided was deliberately designed to be ineffective against Andromedian shields. The aliens watched in horror as their final hope proved useless and enemy fire continued to destroy their ships with casual efficiency. It was at this moment of complete despair that Admiral Patterson activated the final phase of humanity's conquest. Throughout the nebula, human vessels suddenly revealed their true nature as their disguised weapon systems came online and their hidden capabilities were unleashed against both fleets simultaneously. Captain Park's merchant vessel transformed into a heavy battle cruiser. As plasma cannons emerged from concealed hull sections, her first salvo destroyed 3 Andromedian ships and 2 alien cruisers with surgical precision. Captain Davis deployed swarms of autonomous hunter-killer drones from his research ship, each one programmed with complete tactical data about every vessel in the battle zone. The revelation was devastating to alien morale. The species they had trusted as junior partners and grateful students suddenly revealed themselves as predators who had been stalking the galaxy for years. Every human ship in the nebula was actually a sophisticated weapons platform that made both galactic and Andromedian technology look primitive by comparison. Captain Lee's reconnaissance vessel unleashed quantum torpedoes that could phase through any known shield technology. Nancy White coordinated targeting data with human forces throughout the battle zone, while Rick Thompson analyzed the effectiveness of their weapons against different alien defensive systems. Within minutes, they had destroyed a dozen enemy ships while appearing to assist in the galactic defense effort. The Andromedian fleet found themselves caught between collapsing alien forces and suddenly hostile human vessels whose capabilities exceeded their own. Their carefully planned invasion was turning into a massacre as human weapons tore through their formations with devastating efficiency. Ships that had seemed invincible against galactic weapons were reduced to debris by human plasma cannons and quantum disruptors. Captain Martinez's transport vessel revealed itself as a carrier, launching wing after wing of advanced fighters. Each small craft was more maneuverable than anything in galactic space, and armed with weapons that could cripple capital ships. The fighter swarms moved through the battle zone like schools of mechanical sharks, destroying everything that wasn't human with ruthless precision. General Foster watched the tactical display with satisfaction as her forces executed the most complex military deception in history. Every human ship was performing exactly as planned, their concealed weapon systems operating flawlessly after years of preparation. The battle that was supposed to decide the fate of galactic civilization was actually the final act of humanity's conquest. War Chief Drakthun's flagship was targeted for special attention as human forces moved to eliminate alien command authority. Captain Lee's vessel approached under the cover of providing assistance, then deployed specialized boarding pods that penetrated the Krek ship's hull. Within minutes, human special forces had captured the bridge and taken the war chief prisoner. The psychological impact of the revelation was as devastating as the military assault. Surviving aliens throughout the fleet realized that they had been completely deceived by a species they had welcomed as friends. The humans they had trusted with their most sensitive information and granted access to their most secure installations were actually sophisticated intelligence operatives who had been planning their conquest for decades. Dr. Helen Carter broadcast from the captured Menthari research station where she had been working as a supposed exchange student. Her message revealed that every piece of alien technology had been analyzed and cataloged by human agents. Every defensive system had been compromised and every military secret had been stolen. The aliens had been fighting with weapons whose weaknesses were perfectly known to their enemies. The battle lasted exactly 4 hours and 37 minutes from first contact to final surrender. When the firing stopped, less than 200 alien vessels remained operational out of the original 3,000 ship fleet. The Andromedian Armada was completely destroyed, their advanced technology proving no match for human weapons that had been specifically designed to counter their capabilities. Captain Lee stood on the bridge of his revealed battleship and surveyed the debris field that had once been the greatest military force in galactic history. Around him, human vessels emerged from stealth mode and revealed their true configurations as they began rescue operations for surviving alien crews. The galaxy had discovered humanity's silent terror, but the revelation had come far too late to change the outcome of a war that had been won before it began. Admiral Greg Patterson stood on the bridge of his flagship Sovereign, watching through the main display as the last alien rescue shuttles docked with human vessels. The massive dreadnought had spent 2 years disguised as a diplomatic transport, its true nature hidden by sophisticated holographic projectors and false energy signatures. Now its weapons arrays and armor plating gleamed in the light of the Kepler Nebula as humanity revealed the scope of their deception to the galaxy. The remnants of the Galactic Council had been transported to the Sovereign under what the humans politely called protective custody. War Chief Drakthun sat in the ship's conference center, his forearms bound and his proud military bearing broken by the realization of how completely he had been outmaneuvered. Beside him, the few surviving representatives of other species waited to learn their fate from the species they had welcomed as primitive newcomers, Captain. Jake Morrison entered the conference center wearing the uniform of a human intelligence division colonel, his friendly diplomatic smile replaced by the cold efficiency of a professional soldier. The aliens who remembered him from the first contact meeting at Harmony Point now understood that every word he had spoken during those negotiations had been carefully calculated to achieve this moment. Dr. Lisa Hamilton followed Morrison into the chamber, but she was no longer the curious xenobiologist who had asked innocent questions about alien culture. The insignia on her uniform identified her as a senior analyst in the Human Strategic Assessment Division. Her kind eyes now held the calculating gaze of someone who had been studying alien weaknesses for years while pretending to admire their achievements. Kevin Brooks completed the group, but gone was the nervous energy that had made him seem like an inexperienced diplomatic attaché. His true rank was revealed as a commander in human special operations, and the careful notes he had taken during their first meeting had been detailed intelligence, assessments of alien psychological profiles and tactical vulnerabilities. Admiral Patterson activated the conference room's main display, which showed a tactical map of the entire galaxy with human positions marked in blue. The scope of the deception became clear as thousands of markers appeared throughout space, each one representing a human installation that had been hidden from alien detection for decades. The truth was staggering in its complexity. Every human colony on supposedly worthless worlds was actually a heavily fortified military base with advanced manufacturing capabilities. Every merchant ship had been a sophisticated intelligence-gathering platform, armed with weapons superior to alien military vessels. Every research exchange had been an espionage operation designed to steal technological secrets and identify strategic weaknesses. Dr. Sam Wright appeared on the display from his laboratory complex beneath the Swiss Alps, surrounded by alien technologies that his teams had been analyzing for years. His research had not been an attempt to learn from superior alien science but a systematic evaluation of galactic military capabilities, designed to identify exploitable flaws in their defensive systems. The economic dimension of the deception was equally devastating. Trademaster Quill learned that human merchants had been manipulating galactic markets for months, creating artificial shortages and price fluctuations that had weakened alien economic stability. The commerce that had seemed so beneficial to galactic prosperity had actually been designed to make alien civilizations dependent on human trade networks. Captain Ron Martinez broadcast from his vessel, which had transformed from a simple freighter into a heavy cruiser, bristling with advanced weapons. His crew had spent 2 years mapping every significant military installation, resource depot, and strategic choke point in galactic space. The aliens had provided detailed tours of their most sensitive facilities to merchants they believed were harmless primitive traders. The intelligence operation had been perfect because it exploited every assumption aliens had made about human capabilities. Species that had developed faster than light travel and energy weapons thousands of years ago could not conceive that a supposedly primitive civilization might have advanced beyond their own achievements. Their technological arrogance had made them blind to the evidence of human superiority. General Amy Foster appeared on the display from her command center, revealing the true scope of humanity's military preparation. Hidden factories throughout human space had been producing weapons and equipment for decades, while maintaining the illusion of basic industrial capacity. The manufacturing capability that aliens had, dismissed as primitive actually, exceeded the combined output of all major galactic civilizations. The psychological warfare had been as important as the technological deception. Months of apparent struggle against the Andromedan invasion had broken alien confidence in their own military capabilities, while making them dependent on human assistance. They had welcomed human agents into their most secure installations while believing they were accepting help from grateful junior partners. Colonel Steve Phillips reported from Central Prime, where his teams had taken control of the Galactic Government Center without firing a shot. The aliens had never suspected that the human technical advisors, helping to coordinate their defense against the Andromedians, were actually Special Forces operators positioning themselves for a bloodless coup. The revelation of human capabilities spread throughout the galaxy within hours as communication networks that aliens thought they controlled were revealed to be under human supervision. Every major alien world received simultaneous broadcasts showing the true extent of human technological superiority and military positioning. Captain Danny, Lee addressed the galaxy from his battle-scarred vessel, explaining how easily human reconnaissance missions had penetrated alien defensive systems. His cheerful reports about Andromedian capabilities had been completely fabricated to support the deception, while his real mission had been to coordinate the positioning of human forces throughout the combat zone. The economic collapse was immediate and total as alien civilizations realized that their entire commercial structure had been manipulated by human intelligence operations. Trade routes that had operated for centuries were revealed to be under human control. Resource extraction operations throughout the galaxy were actually feeding human industrial capacity rather than supporting alien economies. Dr. Helen Carter broadcast from the captured Menthari research facilities, revealing how human agents had infiltrated every major academic and scientific institution in galactic space. The technological exchanges that aliens had believed were generous gifts to primitive humans had actually been intelligence-gathering operations designed to steal their most advanced research. Max Turner reported from his colony worlds, where hidden military installations were emerging from concealment as their stealth systems powered down. Each human settlement was actually a fortress capable of controlling entire star systems, positioned to dominate key regions of galactic space through careful strategic planning. The scope of the deception was so vast that many aliens initially refused to believe it was possible. Species that had controlled galactic civilization for millennia could not accept that they had been outmaneuvered by newcomers they had dismissed as primitive explorers. The evidence was overwhelming, but the psychological impact was almost too great to process. Admiral Patterson addressed the surviving alien leadership with calm professionalism, explaining that humanity offered them a choice between integration into the new galactic order or complete military destruction. The demonstration in the Kepler Nebula had proven that human forces could eliminate any resistance without significant losses. The aliens could accept human leadership or face annihilation. War Chief Drek Thun was the first to speak, his military training allowing him to recognize tactical reality, even through his shock and humiliation. The Krex hegemony would accept human authority rather than face extinction. His species had always respected superior force, and humanity had demonstrated capabilities that exceeded anything in galactic history. Scholar Veltara represented what remained of the Menthari academic establishment. Her people valued knowledge above all else, and they could not deny the intellectual achievement that humanity's deception represented. The systematic penetration of galactic civilization through strategic deception was perhaps the greatest scholarly accomplishment in recorded history. Trademaster Quill spoke for the commercial interests that had unknowingly served human economic objectives for years. His people understood profit and loss better than anyone, and the calculation was simple. Cooperation with humanity offered survival and prosperity, while resistance promised only destruction. One by one, the surviving representatives of alien civilization accepted the new reality. Humanity had conquered the galaxy not through brute force or technological intimidation, but through the most sophisticated intelligence operation in history. They had won a war that their enemies never knew was being fought, until it was far too late to resist. Admiral Patterson's final address to the galaxy was broadcast from every communication array in human space. The message was simple and direct. Humanity had assumed responsibility for galactic civilization and would ensure peace and prosperity under the new order.